Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojintan. President Bola Tinubu has paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. The president, in company of the state governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, his deputy, and the former APC national chairman BC Akonde, was in Owo, the hometown of the former governor, where he visited the widow, children, and some other relatives of the deceased. President Tinubu comforted Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu and urged her to remain strong with solace in the legacy of her late husband. Earlier, the president visited Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Ogunoye, where he was received by members of the Ondo State Council of Traditional Rulers. Olowo of Owo thanked the president for his visit and promised the support of traditional rulers for his administration. Senate has passed the bill on the control of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria. The bill provides for the establishment of a center that will coordinate and implement activities aimed at combating the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. The bill, forwarded from the House of Representatives for concurrence, is in tandem with UN, AU, and ECOWAS Convention and other international instruments and protocols on small arms and light weapons. Meanwhile, Senate has approved the removal of Chief Executive of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Babatunde Erukere, as requested by the President and in accordance with the Act establishing the Commission. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is proposing a National Food Security and Nutrition Summit to address the food crisis facing the country. Adopting a motion of urgent national importance by Representative Chike John Okafor, the House advocated robust security measures in agrarian communities as well as support for smallholder farmers to enhance food production.
Ensuring that they have the necessary inputs, tools and infrastructure to enhance food production through short-term subsidies as the government continues to strengthen the existing food distribution networks and mechanisms.
The major farming communities in Oka North, Obofemili, Ubene, Urum, and Amanuke have been under siege for some time now.
Provide this dry season farming. Where are they going to farm? In as much as there is still insecurity in the land, farmers cannot go to their farms.
Niger State is sitting on a land mass that is almost 10% of the total land mass of the country. And I can assure you that more than 50% of the land mass is secured and arable for agriculture.
The road between the farm and the market is so bad. So beyond insecurity, there is that need for infrastructure to connect the markets to the farm.
National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports that the Green Chamber has also expressed concern over the frequent collapse of the national grid, mandating its Committee on Power to urgently investigate and proffer solutions to the problem.
So worried that frequent grid collapses this year have negatively impacted the economy, reducing industrial output and raising manufacturing expenses. Firms are forced to invest in alternate power sources, thus raising operational costs and leaving end users with exorbitant prices, which citizens cannot afford, especially with the subsidy removal effects.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has flagged off the maiden edition of Renewed Hope Initiative Women Agricultural Support Program in Owerri, Imo State. 100 women farmers drawn from the 5 states of the region received a sum of 500,000 naira each to drive enhanced productivity in agriculture. The initiative, in partnership with the National Agricultural Land Development Agency, is also supporting a total of 500 farmers from the states with a sum of 100,000 naira each, along with agricultural inputs and capacity building. Presenting a check of 10 million naira each to wives of governors from the states, led by Imo State Governor's wife Chioma Uzodinma, the First Lady says, apart from aligning with the grand desire of the federal government to strengthen the agricultural sector, the support program also targets overall development of Southeast Zone.
This dual approach of the Renewed Hope Initiative and the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, demonstrates a comprehensive strategy to address the various challenges faced by women farmers. I want to implore our women farmers receiving support today to seize this opportunity to expand their agricultural scope, contribute to local and national food production, and serve as role models for others aspiring to enter the agricultural sector.
While applauding the First Lady for the gesture, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma described the struggle for food security as a collaborative effort and called on wives of state governors to take ownership of the program and widen its scope down to rural areas. OPEC's Secretary General says the narrative about energy transition must be channeled towards a just transition and not a one-size-fits-all, as fossil fuel will continue to be part of the energy mix. Leading an international panel discussion at the Nigeria International Energy Summit in Abuja, the Secretary General was clear that all shades of opinion must be considered. Lydia Sampson reports.
Moderated by Professor Emmanuel Ibekachuku, the brain behind the Nigeria International Energy Summit 7 years ago, the panel discussion focused on navigating the new energy world order, security, transition, and finance. The panelists agreed that the current realities are daunting, with intensive campaigns against investment in fossil fuel.
Key players like Nigeria and our other African producers, along with others, is to bring about the adequate stability that's required in the market for investors such as the IOCs, the NOCs, everybody in the industry to be able to find a stable environment.
We produce and sell or export outside of Africa 75% of the oil that we produce. Yet, our continent has the largest proportion of its population living in energy poverty.
They believe that navigating visible challenges to getting the right mix is the solution.
Our opportunity set needs to be attractive. And one of the focus areas for this administration is to ensure that the government doesn't stay in the business of investing capital in a sector that can easily attract private sector capital if we're able to make sure that the opportunity sets are just as attractive and rank high in global portfolios of investors.
By delving into crucial aspects of mitigating sustainable energy development, it is expected that attendees will leave the summit equipped with knowledge and perspectives that will empower them to contribute effectively to the global energy transition, enhance energy security, and navigate the financial landscape in the emerging world order. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Electricity supply to Abuja has dropped with 250 megawatts following vandalization of transmission tower along Gwagwalada-Katampe line. In a statement, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the incident resulted to tripped off at Gwagwalada Transmission Substation and trial reclosure by TCN operators failed. Already, TCN says it has commenced emergency repair of the damaged tower and its associated equipment. TCN reiterates the need for vigilance in the fight against vandalism of power infrastructure by reporting suspicious movements around power equipment to security operatives or to the nearest TCN offices nationwide. We now join Michael Olaleye in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide. Good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you, Ifoma. Experts in the power sector are of the view that putting a permanent end to erratic power supply in Nigeria requires more investment in the sector. With power now on the concurrent legislative list, this desire will begin to manifest with the full implementation of the 2023 electricity law, especially by state governments and organized private sector. Joe Popola reports.
Nigeria's economic development agenda requires regular power supply, which will serve as a catalyst for development. The 2023 electricity law, which places power on the concurrent legislative list, means states can now legislate and invest in the power sector. Apart from government, the private sector experts say can now fully make an inroad into the sector from generation, distribution to transmission. These industry players believe will hasten Nigeria's attainment of sustainability in the power sector.
And states can also do laws that are peculiar to their state that will help to leverage private sector investment in those states. And this continues. It means that there will be more quantum of people, private sector, that will come into the power industry, and that will spur competition and eventually reduce cost.
You know, that will remove a lot of bottlenecks. The uneven tariff, the sharp practices.
Lagos, the commercial nerve center of the country, requires steady power supply to maintain its status as the fifth largest economy in Africa. And in realizing this, the state government is already exploiting the benefits of the electricity law.
We've been talking about how do we encourage investors to invest into this electricity market. And aside from that, training has been assessed even outside the country.
The power sector roadmap expansion, which is being funded by the Central Bank of Nigeria and executed by the Transmission Company of Nigeria and other critical partners, have gained a lot of traction in Lagos. The stakeholders anticipate a more foreign direct investment in the power sector to address the power deficit in the nation. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Revitalizing the nation's manufacturing sector as well as need for an advocacy drive for economic recovery is imperative for national growth. This was the message at the 8th edition of the Man Reporter of the Year Award and Presidential Media Luncheon in Lagos, organized by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. Adejoke Odeka reports.
The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, is saddled with the responsibility to promote and protect manufacturers' collective interest and create a climate of opinion in which manufacturers can operate efficiently and profitably for the benefit of all. This makes them major stakeholders in the nation's development. Emphasizing this, the Director General, Segun Ajayi Kadri, believes the Nigerian economy needs innovative moves to galvanize people for the good of the nation.
If you patronize us, we are able to utilize the funds to backward integrate. So there's no incentive. And at the same time, government must be ready to incentivize directly those raw materials that we need to promote.
While calling for new ways to create a win-win situation for manufacturers as well as Nigerian citizens, the competition between the Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks must end.
Government have to regulate the reputation of dollars end and find that it is really disposed to the cost that the government really need in particular.
The Reporter of the Year Awards saw 10 winners emerge with tops in 5 different categories: television, radio, newspaper, online, and photojournalism.
I really want to appreciate MAN because this is the 4th time I'm winning the MAN's Reporter Award of the Year radio category. This award, when you remember this award at the end of the year, you might end up winning an award to make you to really work hard.
Other spokesperson at the forum commended the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria for their commitment in ensuring that the nation's economy continues to withstand all economic downturn. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Sokoto shortly after this break. Do stay.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, reforms in the health sector under the Renewed Hope mantra are being carefully designed to transform and harness Nigeria's health potential into a productive sector beyond being a consuming one. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate said this at the 3rd edition of the ministerial press briefing, and also reaffirmed the adoption of a tactical approach to deal with outbreak of diseases and guarantee the desired health care in Nigeria. Salihu Gwanara reports.
Globally, human migration has exposed some nations to the syndrome of brain drain, particularly in the health sector. Even though Nigeria is not an exception from this global trend, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare re-emphasized that deliberate policies are being initiated for renewal of health infrastructure that will add value and unlock health care value chain.
Over the last several months, 2,497 doctors, nurses, and midwives have been recruited in our primary healthcare centers to fill gaps and to help in delivering services. And hundreds of thousands of Nigerians have been enrolled in the health insurance program through the National Health Insurance Scheme and the Vulnerable Groups Fund.
The ministry, he added, is mobilizing vaccine to mitigate outbreaks and enhance social engagement.
The National Consultative Forum on Health and Human Capital is also provided for by law, but until this administration, that has not happened. So we are organizing to have a consultative forum of all our traditional leaders, religious leaders from all parts of the country to engage them on this reform.
The host, Minister of Information and National Orientation, reaffirmed some reforms towards nation building with reference to the resolutions of the Federal Executive Council meeting held earlier in the week.
Government wants to reduce costs, also improve efficiency in service delivery. Now, this does not necessarily mean that government is out to retrench or to throw people out of the labor market. That is not the original intention. The intention is that efficiency has to be brought in because some of these parastatals are actually having some overlaps in the way they do their operation.
This is a platform for ministries' stewardship to be assessed and project their policies for nation building. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
As part of efforts towards equipping medical laboratory scientists to navigate evolving health landscape of the country, critical players in the profession converged on JOS to develop curriculum for new courses at the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology in line with contemporary trend in the medical laboratory science. Ndeyang and Diabagyang reports.
The curriculum development is for courses in public health, health economics, immunology and vaccine production, medical laboratory management, as well as molecular biology and mortuary science, among others. This stakeholder forum for curriculum development for approved courses of the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology brought together different sectors of the profession to brainstorm and develop curriculum for course programs that will be forwarded to regulatory authorities for consideration and approval.
It will produce the cadre of experts and specialists that are needed to strengthen the healthcare service.
It's actually apt and timely that the workforce will be further empowered.
There's also going to be adaptation and modification of the medical laboratory technician
program so that it will be in concert with advancements in technology.
Other key players say steps taken to develop courses in different specialties in the field will contribute to the advancement of the profession. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
Well, we still have Indenyan on the field to tell us more about the college. Now, Indenyan, you talked about stakeholders' recent meeting on curriculum development for the college. May we know some of their resolutions?
Yes, the Federal Medical College of Medical Laboratory Science Technology was established in 1954 as the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology to provide middle-level manpower in the health sector. It became fully operational in 1958 with the mandate to train medical laboratory technicians, which was backed up in 2018. The law was amended in 2022 and passed into law in 2023. The college before its upgrade by the National Assembly, the West African Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science in 2022 approved and ran postgraduate courses in 7 faculties to include blood transfusion science, chemical pathology, and hematology. The college has also commenced postgraduate diploma in medical laboratory leadership and management, mortuary science, vaccine production, public health laboratory science, and health economics and forensic science, among others. As a result of this, the college earlier in the week brought together key players in the medical laboratory science profession to fashion out modalities of approved courses at the college towards providing the needed human resource for the college. And so because of that, these people came from across the country to ensure that they enhance the course content of the college, develop curricula for emerging course studies within the profession. This is in view of the rapid transformation in science and technology. And to navigate the frontiers, there is the need for the professionals to be competent and resilient. And so some of the recommendations that were made, the stakeholders encouraged the college to undergo a facility assessment to help determine the initial course program to commence. And since the college, by the enabling law, Act 2023, which mandates the college to provide diploma, certificate, and degree courses, it encouraged the college to interface with the NUC on the need to immediately commence the degree program, as well as specialized studies in medical laboratory science in Nigeria and beyond. The stakeholders further recommended 3 more courses that were not part of the ones that had their curriculum already developed. These courses are Intro, Diagnostic and Reagent Production, Supply Chain Management, and Medical Laboratory Instrumentation. They also appeal to the federal government to allocate funds that will support infrastructure development of the college in line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. All these are geared towards providing a platform for disease surveillance, control, and accurate diagnosis of disease, as well as research in collaboration with other healthcare providers. Ifoma?
Thank you very much indeed, Ide, that was quite elaborate. Thank you so very much. That'll be all for now. Now, we link up with our Sokoto Network Center for more reports from that access.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Utilizing the Nigerian Army Education Corps is one of the non-kinetic approaches by the Nigerian Army towards tackling insecurity and building peaceful society in Nigeria. General Officer Commanding 8th Division Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Godwin Michael Mutkut, stated this at a 2024 first quarter maiden engagement of repositioning education towards enhancing quality service delivery, holding in Sokoto. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa has more.
The two-day engagement is aimed at brainstorming ideas on improving quality education delivery in the command schools to meet emerging challenges and build an enduring and peaceful Nigeria. GOC 8th Division Nigerian Army Sokoto, Major General Godwin Mutkut, and Commander Nigerian Education Corps, Major General Oho represented, stressed that the Army Education Corps is part of the non-kinetic approaches towards ending insecurity in the country. It is also a way of improving the welfare of officers and their families.
Our primary responsibility involves the fight against violent extremists and other criminalities within Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara and Katsina states. This we have done and will continue to do our best to fulfill our assigned mandates.
The Corp is keeping to its statutory mandate, currently in the process of historically repositioning our command schools for the benefit of Nigerian personnel and their families and host communities.
Papers to be presented will cover decline in students' population in command secondary schools in the division, challenges and the way forward, among others. The event had in attendance stakeholders in the command's education sector, Sokoto State Government, Parent Teachers Association, 7 and retired officers of the division. The theme for the two-day engagement is repositioning command schools towards enhanced service delivery. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nabawa, NTA News.
The Zamfara State Executive Council has approved compulsory retirement of 22 permanent secretaries from the state civil service. This forms part of the major resolutions reached at the council meeting presided over by the governor, Dauda Lawal. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
The 16th Zamfara State Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Dauda Lawal at the Council Chambers Government House Gusau deliberated on a number of issues affecting the socio-economic development of the state. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Comrade Manema Azu Haidara, who briefed Government House correspondents on the outcome of the meeting, said the Council has approved the immediate retirement of all the permanent secretaries without portfolios in the state.
All permanent secretaries without portfolio have been retired today with immediate effect. And the Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal has thanked them graciously for the service rendered to Zamfara State Government.
Other major resolution of the council, according to the commissioner, is the immediate recruitment of 250 youths into the Zamfara Road Traffic Agency Zaruta to help reduce road congestion and accident on some major roads across the state. To this end, the council has directed the State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice to establish a tribunal to be assigned to the responsibility of handling traffic offences in the state. Similarly, the council has approved the establishment of 2 parks for articulated vehicles in the state capital Gusau, with a view to reducing road congestion and other traffic violation by drivers of such vehicles. During the meeting, Governor Dauda Lawal received comprehensive reports on the position of various ongoing projects that cover various sectors of the state. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution here in Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja.
Thanks, Nana. Now, advocates for inclusivity are appealing to the federal government and the subnationals to take more interest in the welfare and well-being of persons living with disabilities, especially with the rising costs resulting from the impact of government's expansive economic reforms. One of such advocacy group is recommending the provision of food banks for PWDs in the 6 geopolitical zones, subsidize and specialize Medicare, as well as offers of assistive devices and other palliative care, measures for these strata of the population who are more susceptible to the short and medium-term costs of government's economic reforms. They are also calling on state governments to implement skill development programs tailored to the specific needs of persons with disabilities.
We urge your administration to adopt a more strategic and compassionate stand
towards alleviating the pain of the most vulnerable in our society.
Provide incentives and support to employers who hire and create inclusive workforce for persons with disability. We believe that these steps that we are taking and the actions that we are calling for are practicable and can be done.
The group is proposing the inclusion of persons with disabilities in existing committees of government tasked with investigating and addressing specific challenges faced by vulnerable Nigerians. Taba State government will support the management and board of the Northeast Development Commission to accomplish its mandates of developing the region. Governor Abuja said this during a courtesy visit at the management of the commission in Jalingo. Correspondent Bem Hanya has details of the report.
Established by the federal government to tackle the developmental challenge in the Northeast region occasioned by insurgency, the NEDC has executed 134 projects in Taba State alone. Governor Abuja, who acknowledged the intervention of the commission in the state, added that its projects are similar to his agenda for the state.
As an agency tasked with the responsibility of coordinating and implementing sustainable development projects in the region, your work is instrumental in driving positive change and improving the lives of our citizens.
As of today, we have 134 projects across Taba State, and most of the projects were completed, and very soon we'll come again to secure clearance to hand over some of those projects.
The NEDC covers Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Yobe, and Taba States. In Jalingo, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
The Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, has carried out its first successful open heart surgery. The corrective surgery was performed on a 2-year-old boy. Kemi Sikiru has details of this medical feat.
When the 2-year-old boy was taken into the theater and the medical team picked up this couple for the first open heart surgery, the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta, stood at the threshold of history. The feat, the very first since the facility was established in 1993, was finally recorded after 4 hours of surgery by a medical team from the center, led by Dr. Augustine Olugbemi.
Is we stop the heart, we stop the lungs, transfer the function to this machine, okay, and then we repair what we want to repair, and when we finish repairing it, we transfer the function back to the heart and the lungs, and we start the heart again, okay, and then we take the patient to the ICU to recover.
It has been a very good achievement, and I feel extremely happy about this.
Other team members could not hide their joy over the feat.
Do our first open heart surgery in Federal Medical Center Abeokuta is really gladdening, it's really encouraging, and then we are very proud of ourselves.
We believe that the patient would have progressive improvements in the clinical condition.
It's going to impact the Abeokuta community.
For parents of the patients, the decision to put their trust in the capacity of the center to carry out the surgery was a tough one, but it has paid off. About 30 other patients are on the waiting list of the hospital for same purpose.
All is well that ends well. It's a common cliche, but it perfectly captures the mood here at the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta, which has now joined the League of Foreign and Domestic Facilities with demonstrated capacity to carry out open heart surgery. Of course, this is good news for Nigeria health sector in general and potential victims in particular. In Abeokuta, Kemi Orunsolu Sikiru, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Kemi. A good news indeed for the Nigerian health sector. We now take a break. The short wide continues in a moment. Please stay. Thanks for staying tuned. Now, for the next set of stories on Nationwide, let's now join Charles in our Makurdi Network Center. Hello, Charles.
Thank you, and a warm welcome to Makurdi.
250 elderly persons across the 23 local government areas in Benue State have received 100,000 naira each, courtesy of the Renewed Hope initiative by Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Governor Hassan Talia, who flagged off the distribution of the funds in Makurdi, urged the beneficiaries to put the money to judicious use to better their lives. Elias Itia reports that the Renewed Hope initiative for elderly person support scheme has as its theme, Better Days Ahead.
Child of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, born out and commitment to the well-being of elderly citizens across Nigeria. In Benue State, 250 persons aged 65 and above have received 100,000 naira each from the support scheme.
I feel highly excited, and I promise that I will make judicious use of the money. I'm very, very happy for what you have done. It's what you have done to the poor people.
Representative of the wife of the Deputy Governor of Benue State, Mrs. Patience Erube, as well as other speakers who appreciated the First Lady for her commitment to a more inclusive and compassionate society, noted that the funds will in no small measure make positive impacts on the lives of the beneficiaries.
This is highly commendable. So Her Excellency is thanking the First Lady of the Federation, and she hopes that this that have started at the state level will replicate in all the 23 local governments of Benue State and of the Federation as well.
Governor Hyacinth, earlier represented by the Commissioner for Water Resources, Environment and Climate Change, Ogu Odo, thanked the First Lady for her numerous programs to better the lives of the vulnerable populace.
For instance, schemes such as agricultural support for female farmers, no woman, no nation, every home a garden, competition with a prize of 20 million naira to be handed out to the best gardener across the Federation.
The 250 beneficiaries cut across the 23 local government areas of the state. In Makurdi, Elias, ETF, NTA News.
The Benue State government has inaugurated 2 judicial commissions of inquiry on incomes and expenditures and that of sale and lease of public assets in the state. Governor Hassan Talia, who performed the inauguration ceremony, charged members of the commissions to exhibit diligence in the discharge of their responsibilities. Elias Itiav again.
We are sorry, that's the much we can take from our Makurdi Network Center. Now, the disorderly movements of medicine in the supply chain from the manufacturer to the final consumer is inimical to the efficacy of pharmaceutical products and is the primary cause of substandard and falsified medicines in circulation. This, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says, is among many reasons for the relocation of open drug marketers to coordinated wholesale centers in Kano. Haman Jabani reports.
To eliminate substandards and fortified medicines, the Presidential Committee on Pharmaceutical Sector Reform, constituted in 2003, among others, to develop strategies towards the sanitization of the drug distribution system in Nigeria, saw the establishment of coordinated wholesale centers. Over the years, medicine dealers in Kano have resisted all attempts by concerned regulatory authorities to relocate their pharmaceutical businesses from the open drug market to the coordinated wholesale center, and the dealers even filed a lawsuit in court seeking to reject relocation to the coordinated wholesale center.
A landmark judgment was made by Justice Simon Amabeda in Kano Federal High Court on February 16, 2024, that ordered the open drug marketers in Kano to relocate their stores to the Dangwaro Coordinated Wholesale Center on Zaria Road. Sequel to this court ruling, NAFDAC, in conjunction with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, on the 17th and 18th of February 2024, embarked on an enforcement action.
1,370 wholesale medicine outlets and packaging stores were sealed in 3 open drug markets in the state. Owners of these outlets are to report to the office of NAFDAC and PCN at the Coordinated Wholesale Center for the relocation of their businesses to the center. NAFDAC boss said having a CWC in different cities is part of the activities of Federal Task Force that has its headquarters in NAFDAC but operationalized in cooperation with the states, while Lagos, Onitsha and Aba should be ready to move into the CWCs in the respective cities as soon as such facilities are built. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Let's now join Comfort in our Enugu Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Comfort.
Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has terminated the 14.053 kilometers road contract in Okpoko, Ogbaru local government area for failure of the contractor to deliver the project on schedule. This was during an on-the-spot inspection of the project by the governor. Ndem Kalu has the report.
The project was awarded in September 2022 to be completed by June 2023. Inspecting some of the 9 road projects, the governor explains dissatisfaction with the pace of work ongoing in the areas, describing the contractor as one not fit for the job. He announced that a new contractor will take over the project to ensure quick completion.
Since last year, even 9 months after I
The governor explains determination to improving living conditions in Okpoko and its environs through infrastructure development, improved sanitation, organized market systems, security, among others. He condemned the poor sanitary condition of the areas and street trading, reiterating the need for organized markets, and announced the construction of a modern fruit and vegetable market to relocate street vendors. The people are expected to collaborate with government to achieve a clean and healthy environment. From Okpoko in Omaru local government area, Ndem Kalo, NTA News.
Key players in Enugu have lauded government at all levels in their effort at providing mass housing scheme to mitigate housing challenges facing Nigerians. They are, however, appealing to them to subsidize the cost of the houses to make it affordable for Nigerian workers. Eukeria Ugu has the details.
The federal government's renewed hope agenda has floodgates of policies and programs formulated to touch the lives of the citizenry. Provisions of massive housing schemes to address housing deficits and demands of the country's growing population is on the top priority in the government's programs. Consequently, to key into the agenda, Enugu State government, on assumption of office, while rolling out infrastructural development plans, put to bear the prototype of massive housing plan proposed for each senatorial zone, civil servants, and low-income earners in the state. Hence, the adoption of establishment of housing schemes for civil servants and low-income earners.
For those in Enugu metropolis, we have identified areas like Morgan Housing Scheme. We have identified for those in Oji area, we have the Oji River Housing Scheme. There's a housing scheme at Ugogo, Nike, built by Federal Ministry of Housing, containing over 76 housing units. We are taking off with our own buildings, starting from Abuja with 300 housing units.
Civil servants in Enugu and other low-income earners have lauded the government's efforts in mitigating housing challenges facing Nigerians, but have appealed to the federal government and its state counterpart to subsidize the cost to make it affordable for workers.
We want a situation where government will not only provide us, but subsidize. And the governor has promised to do that, particularly by providing the land and the aspect of infrastructure, where the state government will now key into the process to make it lighter for workers.
Enugu State government, through the internally generated revenue, is funding the massive projects to meet its commitment to providing shelter for the people. In Enugu, Ikeria, NTA News.
And those are the stories making the rounds in the zone. It's back to Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Comfort. Now, Hydropower Producing Areas Development Commission says it is expanding its community-based programs to accommodate the growing interest of benefiting states within the Hyperdeck region in 6 states of the country. Managing Director of the Commission, Abubakar Sadiq Yelwa, was speaking during a high-level engagement with Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris, where far-reaching collaborations was brokered. He says so far, 14 local government areas in the state have received a widespread intervention in education, health, solar power, skills acquisition, and safety equipment to minimize both mishaps.
Member states. The purpose was to acquire accurate data on the ecological disasters troubling the member states. The exercise also prompted the Commission to formulate data-driven policies and embark on developmental programs, projects that fit into the socio-cultural and economic realities of the affected communities.
We will do our best to collaborate with you and ensure that this benefit, because this organization, Hyperdeck, is our baby. So therefore, we will do everything humanly possible to create an enabling environment for you people to operate. So I just want to plead with them. Also, that support that they have been giving to you, that they should continue to give you that support so that all of you will succeed.
State's governor urged Hyperdeck to sustain the momentum, which is fast yielding results and enhancing capacity response of community to disaster, as well as empowering youth and women population, which are key in employment generation and national security. And up next is sports updates with Ijoma Peter Wante.
Delegates from different countries of Africa are in Abuja for a week-long annual congress of the Organization of Military Sports in Africa, which focuses on fostering unity in Africa through sports. The upcoming African Military Games in Abuja and the re-election of Nigeria's Major General Mekano Abdullahi as the president are also top on the agenda at the meeting, which was declared open by the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar.
Avenues such as this General Assembly needs to be continuously created to facilitate mutual interaction among personnel. We are going to have a week-long fruitful discussion and programs that will move the organization forward.
Super Falcons head coach Randy Waldrum has assured that his team will strive to be more efficient and clinical in converting their chances as they look ahead to the clash between Nigeria and South Africa in the final phase of qualification in April.
We would overcome South Africa. Of course, there is a strong side. Every team is a strong side. Football is developing in every country, so we are not underrating anybody.
Still on football, Powak of Greece club has confirmed that Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong has had a successful surgery in Finland after sustaining the injury at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Despite the injury, William became the player of the tournament and he is expected to return to play for Powak towards the end of the season. And finally, to athletics, as some home-based athletes in camp in Abuja say they are ready and looking forward to making the country proud by making podium finishes at the African Games.
It's a kind of determination, so we don't have to depend on what is being provided to us. So we have to improvise and do our best. So with what is on ground, I think we are good to go.
What we are just doing now is just the final phase for us to be able to get all the medals in the African Games.
The athletes who have been in camp in Abuja are expected to be joined by their foreign-based counterparts in Ghana for the Games. With sports updates, Ijoma Peter Wante, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you for being part of it. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.